Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is essentially part 2 in these really long needle nose pliers. I did a video about the shorter ones, or the shorter being 11 inches long, mentioning that I would do a video with these. If you haven't seen the shorter one, that's kind of where, grab these, where I addressed the shorter size. We're out here in the really long ones. I mean, look at that difference right there. Gone from 11 inches in this case to 16 inches. Now the longest one that Snap-on makes is 15 inches. And that's this one here. And if I compare these length to length, you can see that in fact, yes, it's at least an inch longer. Where's that inch? It's actually mostly in handle, but you can see that the Snap-on has a slightly longer tip. If I look at these up close, you can see the fit finish. Snap-on's got a different set of teeth. This one here is just a straight cut. If I can get that to focus, there we go. Nothing exciting. It does have this black oxide, which tends to keep coming off. They didn't finish it on the inside. Well, they had to cut costs somewhere, but this wasn't a super cheap set. This was about $44, 45 bucks, maybe something like that, for a set of 4 of these things. So 11 bucks a piece. I mean, we're starting to get into expensive Chinese tools. Yes, and they are made in China, but it is a very specialized tool. You're not going to grab this for most jobs, but when you need something like this, this might be the ticket. And here's a set of 4. So I've got the straight. This is the kind of a weird bend here. This is interesting. I actually like this. If you see, it's almost like a dolphin kind of shape. In fact, let me see if I can, I don't think I can get it easily. Get my Knipex, but that's a unique shape. I have not seen that in a long needle nose before. Seen it in a shorter needle nose, but what do we got here? Here's 45 degree, and then a 90 degree. Come in this little case. The 90 degree is by far the smoothest on these. None of them are super stiff. But a lot of times you're operating at 2 hands, so the stiffness might be an advantage depending on how you look at it. So let me do a couple of quick tests. The first, kind of like before, I'm going to grab a 1/4 inch of this thing and just pry and see. This is actually fairly strong. What if I twist? You know, they aren't going to grab like a lineman, but that's pretty strong. There's some meat up there. That's kind of nice. Compare that to the Snap-on here. Go in a 1/4 inch or so and twist. The Snap-on's actually deflecting more. It's kind of interesting. See that? But I'm getting almost no bend there. I'm going to bend my washer again. So kind of in one direction the Snap-on's stronger, in the other direction it's a little bit weaker. If I try that with, say, these, I'll go look at the light. That's pretty strong. There's some steel in there. And can I bend it? Yeah, look at that. Bent it. So they're pretty beefy. Not the smoothest looking finish job, but again, you're talking about 11 bucks a piece. Try my little dolphin shaped ones here. Getting some deflection there. But look at that, how easily that bent. There's some strength there. I like these. I do like this shape. This is kind of cool, the way they did that. I hope that was intentional, but you know, with China, sometimes you're not sure. And then the conventional one. This would be the straight up comparison here. Really quite a nice, strong design. Look at that, bending it. So there's plenty of girth here to do the work. The Snap-on, one of the things I like is they have actually run a double-sized handle on it. You see they've got up here, they ran basically the entire usable length of the handle with their thick vinyl dip coating, because sometimes, actually a lot of times, you're operating the plier up here. This also is spring actuated where these aren't. So I do like that. Very similar here. The snap-on's a little wider, which this can have some advantage, except maybe the way it fits in your hand. You can decide. Overall, is it worth it? Look, if you don't have anything like this, these can be really handy, just like I mentioned with the other ones. However, the snap-on one, this is pushing $90. There are other versions. I have this one. It's actually quite nice. It's sold under the Crescent name, but I've seen it under a few others. I think this was made overseas. I don't remember where, but it's the double jointed ones. However, the problem with some of the double jointed ones, you know, you see how springy that is. I mean, you've got so much more going on in there. I'm not sure I can bend that. It's just coming apart. But it does have a very narrow profile compared to the amount of opening. So if I wanted to go that much opening, you can see, do it this way here, you can see the advantage right there in how much more space this occupies. But anyway, so here they are. The ABN, or Auto Body Now, is the brand. I've looked at a bunch of the different brands, kind of read a ton of reviews, decided to take the risk and see what they'd be like. Not a lot going on. You got a joint, and then you've got the forged arms, and they're dipped. All they have to do is meet up near the front. If I go to my light here to take a look at some of these, get in there close enough. If I compare that to the Snap-on, I mean, they spent time doing that. That's what you're paying for. Here is the equivalent in the ABN. Yep, see that? And they do have a gap, unlike the previous ones that I reviewed that actually closed in line. You can see that drops in there pretty nicely. So you are paying more for them. Again, these are going up into the 40s, 44 bucks for the set. But if you don't have anything like this, and you're not going to, again, it's probably worth it to have a set. I wish we could have some American-made ones at this price point, but I haven't seen one, and in fact I haven't seen a whole lot at this price point with a specialty tool such as this. That's why I'm bringing them to your attention. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you've got experience with these things. Again, some of these are somewhat expendable. I mean, you might be putting them into places that are going to compromise their integrity. You might push them a little bit too hard. But that also could be a selling feature of the less expensive tool. Anyway, with that, Doc out.